In this episode, we share our take on the 5 traits of highly successful people. If you've ever wondered why some people just seem to reach their potential and others don't, it's not magic. It's the application and focus on certain traits.
We absolutely loved recording this episode because we've learnt so much over the past few years in business and personally, and these traits are always at the front of our minds. We hope you enjoy.
Hi, I'm James Davis.
And I'm Claire Davis.
We're the Midlife Mentors, here to lift the lid on how to achieve health and happiness.
The balanced, no-nonsense way.
Hello and welcome to another episode of the Midlife Mentors with me, James.
James is back doing it, and me, Claire. James is back, stealing the show right at the beginning.
I am.
Always speaking first.
It's been having a discussion about how far away you should be from the microphone. So I noticed Claire inches forward despite her foghorn leghorn mouth.
You are so rude.
Oh, I love you. You have got a very loud voice.
No, I have. I don't know whether I've ever... honestly, it was so funny when I was teaching spin classes and people would try to mic me up. And I'd be like, no, honestly, I really don't need that because, honestly, you'll be able to hear me all the way through the gym and next door. And they were like, no, we'll mic you up. You used to see the look of horror on their face once I started speaking. They were like, take it off. Take it off. So, yeah, you are correct, James. I do have a loud voice, but... no need to be mean.
I'm not being mean.
Foghorn?
Foghorn leghorn. It was that rooster that was always shouting in the cartoons.
I have absolutely no idea what you're talking about. I'm too young. You're showing your 7 years old age.
Yeah, it's the old black and white cartoons.
Quite a lot happened in the 7 years that you were around on this planet before me, right?
Yeah, I bet you missed the clangers as well.
I did miss the clangers.
And Finger Mouse?
No, I like Finger Mouse.
What were we thinking?
Finger Mouse.
The prime time entertainment was someone with a cone of paper on their finger pretending to be a mouse. I mean, making a whole show out of it.
Well, I miss those days. It was really innocent. Well, actually, they weren't so innocent. Some of them were downright odd. But yeah, the innocence of our age.
I know.
God, you won't see that on Instagram now. Anyway, right, what have you been up to, Mr. D?
We have been...
We're in Ibiza having fun now that the sun's out. It rained for 3.5 weeks.
It's that the sun returned at the weekend, didn't it?
Yes, and I'm a much happier person for it.
You are.
I know.
Changed person.
The sunrises, we went for our gorgeous sunrise swim this morning, which was lovely.
Oh, it was beautiful. We went, if you know Ibiza at all, we went down to Calaconta in the south of the island.
Conta with an M or an M?
Conta with an M. Everyone says Conta.
Oh. Well,
went there yesterday, and Claire realised she hadn't been there for decades.
I hadn't been there for years and years, and when I lived here, James refused to drive me. Well, actually, I do the driving, so I could have just got in the car and gone myself, but he refused to take me to anywhere that was further than a 15-minute drive away, because he got real island mentality, so he never took me to the nice places. So I decided this time that that's going to change.
And we liked it so much, we got up early this morning and made sure we were there for sunrise when it was deserted. Unfortunately, that did mean we had to run the blockade of Guardia Civil roadblocks trying to catch people coming home from Pasha. But I think, when they looked through the window and saw that I was in swimming trunks and flip-flops, they were kind of like, this guy has not been at a nightclub all night.
They did breathalyse me. So they breathalyzed me, right? And I had even though I knew I hadn't got any alcohol in me, I got really anxious and nervous. It's terrible, isn't it? When you sit, Guardia Civil.
There was a lot of them. It was quite a serious
There
roadblock.
were like 5 of them.
Yeah.
Anyway, we got to our nice sunrise swim.
We did.
And
It was beautiful.
Just been knuckling down and getting
working
excited.
hard. It's really interesting. Most people, I sense, are kind of like easing off now, and we are just like all guns blazing going. We've got so many exciting projects in the pipeline.
So a little bit overwhelming at points. So we've just, we've been working all day today. Today is a Sunday. We're a day late with this. We normally put this out on a Saturday, but because the sun did come out yesterday, we decided to go and enjoy it. So we've worked all day Sunday. We don't mind.
We don't mind.
We love it.
We love
actually.
it. Work is play.
Work is play.
And the harder you work, the more successful you get, which brings us nicely to the topic for this week's instalment. Which is 5 habits.
No, 5 traits.
Sorry, I got it wrong already.
Oh my God.
One trait is listening, is it? Well,
Yes,
5.
it is, darling.
5
They-
traits of successful people.
But one of the traits of a successful person is they listen. So yeah, 5 traits of highly successful people. So we're really excited to talk about this because, we, for a long time now, have done a lot of our own personal development. And obviously a big part of what we do with people that go through the midlife method is help embed and reprogram their mind to be more successful and actually start engaging in the traits and the habits that will help them become the most successful version of themselves, physically, mentally, and emotionally. So we realised we hadn't really we discuss it between ourselves, but we don't discuss it really with anyone else. So we thought, okay, let's go through 5 traits of highly successful people. So the first one, Mr. D, would you like to drum roll, do number 1?
They invest. Specifically, they invest in themselves. This is what the longer we've gone on ourselves, building our own business and forging our own path, the more coaches and mentors we've worked with and people we've networked with, realize the most successful people are always investing in themselves. They're always spending thousands and thousands a month on developing themselves, whether that's through courses, with other coaches, with mentors, but they've always got something on the go. And this is a lesson we learned ourselves actually last year in Marbella, when, to be honest, I think we were feeling like a little bit run down by the end of the year, and we're kind of like, we've got a handle on this, we know what we're doing, and we dropped working with any kind of coach or mentor, following any program, and of course,
I don't know why we did it.
It just went a little bit haywire for us for a while. Since then, I think we worked out like 1 month that 60% of our income we were reinvesting back into coaching and mentoring, and that was quite an exceptional month. But generally speaking, we put a high proportion of our income back into investing and mentoring because that's how we get our growth, right?
Yeah.
And I'd say it's true for anyone, no matter what level you're at, is find someone that's ahead of you and get them to help you. That's how you're going to grow and succeed.
Yeah, and I think a lot of people, and we understand this, so this is a mindset and a mentality shift, but I understand that a lot of people think when I have X, so I will be able to invest my time, energy and money when I have X. When I have more money, when I have more time, when I have this. But actually, one of the... I'm giving six traits now of highly successful people. I'm going to give
knew this would happen.
I'm going to give you a bonus one that kind of links into this.
Successful people always give a bonus.
Yeah, because they are also resourceful, and this isn't one of our 5. They're also resourceful, so they're like, okay, I'm not going to wait for my circumstances to change. I'm going to find a way, whatever it takes, to find the resources of time, energy, or money, or whatever it is. And they don't sit back waiting for these things. And, they invest knowing that it's the only way that they're going to get back. And putting yourself in that sphere of kind of like influence, and those people like James just alluded to, putting yourself in the sphere of people that have done what you want to do or achieve what you want to do and actually believe in you, and that you can trust, is so unbelievably powerful. And it is scary, we get it, but like we always say, you have to jump, and then the parachute then opens. You're not going to be able to open your parachute before you jump. You do sadly have to take that risk. But you do have to take that risk and invest in yourself before you're ready often.
I heard one coach that I follow describe it as ignorance tax. And his take on it was, look, okay, I could probably get to that point on my own, but it's going to take me like 12 months, lots of time, lots of money, figuring it all out myself. I can see someone that's already doing it successful. I would just pay them the money to learn how to do it and put it into action like tomorrow. And said that money I pay is just paying for my education. Well,
yeah, because how much money are you losing by spending 2 or 3 years trying to master it all yourself, rather than paying someone and doing it quick smart so you can actually start getting the results, living a better life, living a happier life, getting your relationship on track, getting your health on track, starting to live your dreams, starting to do all those things that you've been waiting to do. Like what kind of financial investment, for example, can you put on all that time that you're losing?
Exactly.
So they invest in themselves. Number 2 is they are disciplined, right? So we did a whole podcast on this a few weeks ago. They are highly, highly disciplined. They do the things they don't want to do because they know it's going to get them the result. So discipline, again, is not something that we wake up with. It is something that's cultivated, and it is something that's earned. We don't become disciplined until we start taking the action that makes us disciplined, right? And makes us motivated. So discipline is it's saying no to the quick fixes. It's saying no to the instant gratification, knowing that the long-term results are going to come if they put that effort in now. And I think that's what we're in a society, right, that says you can have everything now, you deserve it, get the dopamine hit right now. Whereas highly successful people go, okay, I'm actually not going to get my dopamine hit right now. I'm going to get my dopamine hit from my sense of pride, from my sense of self-trust and self-belief that I'm going to get because I'm going to see this through.
Yeah, exactly that. I think it's really important to say as well, we all get motivated, right? We all reach that point in our lives where it's like, oh, I want this thing, I want to go, and you can feel, but motivation will only carry you so far. I say motivation is what gets you started. Discipline is what keeps you going.
I mean, there are plenty of times where we don't want to do what we're doing, but we have a very strong why, a very strong vision, which massively helps to keep you disciplined, right? You do have to have a strong why and a strong goal, but that will keep you disciplined. But there are loads and loads of times, don't ever think for 1 minute that we get up and always want to do the things that we do to keep the momentum going and to create success for ourselves. We do plenty of things that we don't want to do, but we do them because we know it's going to give us the life of our dreams and the health of our dreams. And help so many other people.
Case in point, we've worked pretty much all day today, Sunday, and we're just like actually mapping out the week ahead. And we figured out, we're going to be working every day up to and including Christmas Eve, and then probably give ourselves a 2 days break before we're back into it again.
Yeah, absolutely. So discipline is huge. Number 3 is
you're not afraid to take calculated risks.
Yeah.
So this isn't about like just doing things willy-nilly or, leaping without looking. It's you obviously do your due diligence.
You got your parachute on.
But be aware of the voice of fear, and beware when that voice of fear is actually overriding what it could be. Here's the thing: when we're looking at opportunity, often we'll look at the worst case scenario, right? It's how we're hardwired. It's part of our evolutionary makeup. What could go wrong, and if it does go wrong, what is the worst thing that can happen? And often we'll use that to talk ourselves out of taking a risk. And sometimes that's valid, and sometimes, many times, for our growth it is not valid. And instead we should be asking ourselves, okay, but what if it goes right? What if I succeed at this thing? What does my life look like then? And that is a question that we don't ask ourselves. Maybe we allow ourselves to dream it for an instant before that negative voice comes in and we squash it right down. By all means, evaluate the possible negatives. And here's a trick you can do actually. When you do evaluate the negative outcomes and let your imagination run wild, you'll end up start laughing because you'll see how ridiculous some of them are. But when you come to that point, you go, okay, but if that happened, what would I do then? Yeah. And you'll have a strategy to deal with it. And you realise the worst case scenario isn't A, likely, and B, actually isn't that bad at all.
Well, this is where we can comfort our subconscious mind, because actually there's plenty of things that haven't turned out the way that you wanted them to, I'm sure, in the past, but actually you got through them. And actually you came out a stronger version of yourself, and there's no doubt that you would have done. Yes, it might have hurt, and it might have caused you to crumble at the time and fall into a dark night of the soul, but you got through it. So actually, what happens is at midlife, and this is one of the things we talk about, and this is why we do what we do so passionately, right? So many midlifers are afraid to take risks because they've got into their comfort zone. And they've created this life for themselves of all this stuff and all this, self-identity and material things and material possessions. They become very, very afraid of losing that. So we say, a lot of midlifers, when we were younger, we played to win, right? We had that mindset of playing to win. When we get into midlife, we play not to lose those things. And we get very, very frightened of losing those things. And we get very frightened of failure. But there is no success without failure. They say that success is a hangover of failure. It's just a byproduct of failure. So, highly successful people aren't afraid to take risks and go outside their comfort zone because they know that they cannot categorically get to where they want to get without being uncomfortable and without taking a calculated risk and jumping, not knowing when that parachute is going to open.
If you don't take a risk, you don't grow. End of. Here's the thing: once you do start taking risks, you'll find over time you become more and more comfortable with taking them, and your growth will accelerate more and more.
Listen, James and I, when we first got together in the business, we would take risks and get really, really afraid. And sometimes I would back off, or it can be really debilitating. But don't forget, you are an expansive being. You are meant to grow. There is a song inside you. I say this a million times over. There is a song inside you that's unique to you that is meant to be sung. And what a shame that it won't get sung if you're not able to take some calculated risks and go outside your comfort zone.
Also, remember that often the, in inverted commas, risk-free option is in reality just as risky.
Yes, absolutely. Number 4 is work on your mindset. So one of the traits of highly successful people is they do work on their mindset. You know, they invest that time, energy, and money on people and things that will help them grow their sense of self and their sense of self-awareness and what they're here to do. You know, James and I will very, very often read self-development books, business books. We invest that time, and also in the morning, we have, this isn't one of our 5 traits, but, you know, we have, as we've always talked about on this podcast, a very, very, very critical morning ritual, basically. If we don't do that, we become very, very off very quickly. And we've seen that with all of our clients, and we state this to all of our clients all the time. You have to work on your mindset. You have to put the mindset reps in, because if you don't, that negative Nancy, that inner bitch, is going to come at you with full force, and it is going to stop you doing the things that you know you need to do with that discipline and with that risk taking and with that investment. So the mindset thing, people really underestimate the power of doing things like gratitude lists, of doing the visualization, of, you know, doing the affirmations, all these sorts of things. They underestimate it until they think, oh my God, I feel really, really off. I don't know why I feel off. I'm just doing lots of action, and I'm not working on my mindset. That's why. You know, we talk a lot to our clients about constantly being in action, which is great, which is the discipline side of things. But conversely, we also need to make sure that the inner world is grounded, that the inner world is in line with the actions.
Yeah. Here's the truth bomb for you. Working on your mindset is hard.
It's really hard.
But when you do it,
dull
it makes
sometimes.
everything else easy.
Yeah, it's the thing that falls away for so many people, including ourselves. And I'm very, very aware when I haven't been doing my mindset reps, and I'm like, right, get back on it. So really, really, most successful people have to consistently work on their mindset. And number 5 is...
successful people are good gatekeepers of their time. They recognise that time is the only finite resource. So, you know, things like, yes, of course, money and things like that are important, but it's a resource you can regenerate. You can regenerate money. Particularly if you're already in a success mindset, you just be like, well, I'll just go out and create some more money. I'll generate some more wealth. But time, they recognise, is finite, which means, like, how am I using my time effectively? Am I making a plan to succeed? Am I going through that plan? Am I... minimising time in my life with people that are energy drainers that aren't going to carry me forward, and I'm minimising my time in situations that aren't doing anything for me that are going to move me forward. Am I protective
of my time and who I spend that time with? But am I sitting there saying I don't have time, but actually I'm sitting there watching Love Island and I'm a celebrity, get me out of here, but complaining that I don't have enough time? Successful people don't do that. No. They are very, very aware, and they have an awareness of where their time is being drained, and they maximise every single inch of it.
Yeah, listen, we all need downtime. We all need what we call like a state switch, right? We're super focused. We're working towards a goal. We can only keep that up for a certain amount of time, and then we'll need a break. So yeah, having that break is fine, but just be aware, this is a break for me. I'm just like switching to neutral for a minute, and then you go back. The problem comes when just like neutral becomes the default position, and you're letting life just carry you along. Yeah,
exactly. And, you know, highly successful people, again, I know that they will have, because we read all about this, and actually we've become so much better at this. They don't sit on Instagram and Facebook all day scrolling. They just don't. And they certainly don't have time to bitch and moan on social media because they're too busy getting on with their thing. They are too busy getting on with being successful in whatever area that might be. So again, they're very, very conscious about when they're on their social media, when they're watching TV, when they're doing things that are going to push them forward or repel them back. So
there we go. Those are our 5 traits. I hope you find that useful.
Yeah,
and you can start applying them.
Loved doing that one. And listen, we're learning all the time.
Yeah.
Of course we are.
Well, life is all about growing. You're always learning and growing, which is the beautiful thing about it.
We haven't got these dialed in ourselves all the time, but you know, again, the more you grow your mindset, which is one of the traits, the more you grow your mindset and the more you surround yourself with like unbelievably inspiring, motivating people in the right communities, this is when you start to notice the traits of these people, and then you can emulate them. You're like, oh, okay, that's what they're doing. And yeah, those people will always be there to help guide you in a way that's so rewarding. So rewarding.
Now, I want to say a thank you. We had a nice review from a listener.
Oh, we did.
So thank you so much, listener. We really appreciate that. We gave it a little shout out as well on our social feed. So thank you. If you're listening and you're loving the show, then please give us a good rating and give us a nice review. It helps the algorithm, which means it helps reach more people. So we'd love that. And likewise, sharing it, telling your friends and family about it as well if you think they might pick up some nuggets that are useful for them.
Yeah, because this is all free,
Sharing
people.
Is caring.
Sharing is caring, but this is free, you know. But because it's not like we ever remotely, I mean, there's not been one. It's 3 years old now, nearly. And there's not been one that we've thought, oh my goodness, I really resent doing this. Like, we love doing this podcast. And the fee for listening to this podcast is please go and review and share our podcast as much as you possibly can with anyone that you think will benefit from it. Because we don't promote this, we don't use ads to promote it. We certainly don't take sponsorship because we don't want your experience listening to this podcast to be interrupted, because I hate that. I hate interruptions on podcasts. So yeah, we are sending you so much love.
We are, until next week, which we think it's going to be our final one for 2023.
Yeah.
So that should drop on Christmas Eve, I think.
Christmas Eve.
As long as we manage our time effectively, Claire.
I love that, James.
And then we will love and leave you until early in the new year. But just want to give you a heads up as well. Claire and I have been running a free masterclass between Christmas and New Year.
We are.
We'll be lifting the secrets, or lifting the lid on some of the secrets to midlife health and happiness. How you can really thrive at midlife. So we're touching things that affect, your physical body, your mind. We'll be diving into a little bit about hormones and metabolism as well. So keep your eyes on our social media and on your email inbox if you're signed up to our mailing list for info on that. We'll be running it again in early Jan as well. So do not miss out that.
Yeah.
And as always, any messages, comments, anything you'd like us to talk about, just send a message to team@the-Midlife Mentors.
Yay! We've loved this one. It's been great. And we are sending you so much festive cheer. You take care. Bye.
Bye.
Yeah.
You've been listening to the Midlife Mentors with Claire and James Davis.
We'd love to hear from you. So drop us a line at info@themidlifementors.com with any questions or topic suggestions.
And make sure you join us on our Facebook page and YouTube channel. You can find us under the Midlife Mentors.
Yeah.